2017 audit for the town of Phillipsburg. This is our first year doing the audit. We're the new guys in town. Just want to talk a little bit about what the audit is about. Okay, we're here to do a financial and a compliance audit. We're not here to do a efficient. Are your financial statements fairly stated, and are you complying with the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey? And so as we go through, we perform tests of the various records to ensure that you are in compliance. As far as the financial end of things, I'm happy to report that the modified opinion, which is a clean opinion, your financials are in good shape. Overall, I think you covered back your fund balances are up. Whenever you see it going the other way, that's when you have problems. So the amount of money that you used in your budget back, so at the end of the year, your fund balance. As far as the compliance items, the state of New Jersey has a whole bunch of rules and regulations that you have to comply with, and we're required to test for those. If we find anything that was not in compliance, we then have. And this year we have 2 recommendations in the report. What I'd like to do is go over them, give a little bit of explanation about each one. And then, as a governing body, you'll be required to pass a corrective action plan. Okay, the administration to correct each one of these things going forward. Okay, 4 months down the road, and being followed of the audit at that point in time to make sure that administration is in fact complying with what they said they were going to do. So the first recommendation we had dealt with some issues with the local public contracts law, and both of these are something worthy a new auditor. Time somehow seems cracks in a lot of places. Each year you award contracts to professionals, whether it's an attorney, an auditor, an engineer. When you award those contracts, you're supposed to award them with a not to exceed amount. All right. Quite often, towns will award the contract and say we're going to pay the attorney $150 an hour. Okay, and that's it. I explained to the administration. They found out at the end of the year they paid the attorney $450,000. The idea by having a not to exceed amount. The reason would be that, all right, we're going to award the contract to the engineer to do this work at an amount not to exceed $50,000. So this is an example. Okay, and that way the governing body knows, okay, we awarded a contract, it's only going to go to $50,000. If it goes over, and say, hey, listen, we originally thought it was going to be 50, it's going to go over, we need to amend that. The other area that dealt with the local public contracts law dealt with we had a purchase through a co-op. Okay, the town did pass a resolution saying we're going to use the Morris County co-op as part of our purchasing procedures. Okay, a co-op is used, it allows you to not have to go through the formal bidding process. The co-op goes out there and does the bidding themselves, and you're able to use their vendors. But you're also required, when you're actually going to use it, to pass a resolution authorizing what you're going to use it for. We did some road this year. All right. What needed to happen is that resolution needed to be passed by the governing body for road repairs with an amount not to exceed of X, whatever it was going to be at that point in time. Okay. So going forward, that needs to be taken care of. Contracts law. The other item we had a recommendation on dealt with the collection balances. So this is something that's been around for a while. Although we get monies in. This doesn't do well, they don't pay. Those and give out more loans. We have about $360,000 or so in unpaid balances. Some of those may determine to be uncollectible. And if that's the case, then they need to be canceled and go forward. Okay? Otherwise, there's going to need to be efforts to be made. And I know that there are efforts being made, and the administration will continue. I read through the corrective action. Again, as I said before, that's the governing body's responsibility now, 3-4 months down the road. Administration, how are we doing with those receivable balances? You know, administration report back, well, we're doing okay. We collected 2 or 3 of these, but these other 4 or 5, we're not sure we're going to get them. Okay? The governing body's responsibility for that. So we'll have to do a corrective action plan that the administration says what the steps that they're going to make corrections to these items. As part of our, specifically these are in fact complied with. Questions about the audit or anything that I spoke about already?
Mr. Fisher, thank you.
Sure.
I will go ahead and defer to Councilman Lewis. Do you have any questions regarding the audit?
No, I don't. It's on my day. Just had an operation. As right now, no, I don't have any questions.
This is what I'm just saying. If anybody has any questions after tonight, you know, phone number from Bob Merlo or from Bobby Scott. If you have any other questions, you know, you can't get answered tonight, feel free to give me a call at any time.
Right, I appreciate that. Thank you. Vice President DiGirolamo, do you have any questions?
I do. Actually, I have a few, but I think I can direct them to Bob because they will be.
A lot of times they will.
Money moved around.
Yes.
So I want a little more detail on it. In the corrective action plan, it states there's findings, and the audit states recommendations. It's my understanding they're different, the findings and the recommendations.
So the finding is the problem. The recommendation is what we're recommending you do to correct. Okay. So for instance, you know, we had a finding there was a problem with local public contracts law. The recommendation is to comply with local public contracts law.
So was the finding non-compliance? Because
So
okay, but you're telling us you found something.
Right, no, so a finding is an area of non-compliance, yes. So
it is non-compliance.
It is non-compliance. There are 2
Not
areas of non-compliance.
States,
Exactly. The state of New Jersey has, yeah, the state of New Jersey has all kinds of rules and regulations.
Correct.
These 2 items were areas of non-compliance.
Okay, because that I did not see where it said.
Okay, so the recommendations are those 2 areas of non-compliance.
Okay.
Is what we're required to use in the state of New Jersey. Technically, it's an area of non-compliance.
Yeah, here it was on the section where the auditors.
Okay, so
results,
that's just with your grants.
okay.
Okay, there's a separate section, you know, as part of our audit, we do a single audit, which covers all your grants also. Okay, there were no
I did
findings.
see that. Okay. As opposed to last year's.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Vice President. Councilman Davis?
Sure. Just one question about the original finding. In terms of the co-op purchases, I know that we've had regular resolutions authorizing purchases. A minority of the purchases made with that, just like select issues?
Okay, again, we do. You have
Right, okay.
a list of vendors who look for items that are over the bid threshold. Resolution some other way, professional service contract, a co-op, or so on. And that's where we didn't see, in one instance, we did not see the award separately of the individual, like Tilcon is the example that we had.
Councilman DePay.
My question was along the lines of Councilman Davis, so it has been answered.
Okay.
That I had could be directed toward Bob. And Bob, you're sticking around this evening, right? We're going into an executive session, is that correct? Okay, so it could, my question is...
Okay, very good. Again, if you have any other questions for me, they can pop.
Are you able to? It's worth. Thank you very much for
All right, have a good night, Shane.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. To the energy aggregation program for a resident, it's Mayor Tim McDonough of Hope. Is that saying that correct? McDonough?
McDonough, yes.
McDonough.
McDonough.
McDonough of Hope.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Council President, members of the council, and the mayor for giving us a few minutes. Let you know about a program that and to understand some of the things that we'll be doing. First, part of the of this co-op, which we're going to describe in a few minutes. Full disclosure, when into the co-op, when we went into the co-op, I had nothing engineering, which is here today doing it. Now I'm doing some consulting to them, the state, trying to help get more municipalities into. This is a program, and it's exactly what it is. It's aggregation, getting your residents for energy, and hopefully to get a lower cost. That is true. Was deregulated a few years ago. These kind of programs started to pop up, and the BPU decided that they would have one which they would authorize, and that's what this is, as well as the State of New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, as I said, Community Affairs, and the on this particular program. The electric service that people will get in through JCP&L, you'll continue to receive power just in your bills and state exactly the way it is. You will see no change in the way you receive a bill, the way you would call if power is out. That all portions in the station will go into this. One is the energy cost that you pay, and the other is transmission cost. Stay the same. If you go into this program, the energy cost will be different, and the station will go into explaining that too. That we will, that contract will be locked in for a certain period of time, not change in that period of time. Unlike some of the third-party plans that are out there, and this is some of the problems that we have trying to explain this program as to what some of the others are. Some of the other programs, and there may be or didn't want to be involved in. Happens under this program, because again, this is the way the BPU has structured this program. It is a opt-out program. This is one of the things, and I'll be very honest with you, that I had problems with as a mayor when it first started, but I've gotten very comfortable with it. In other words, everybody's in. If program, you need to notify them, and that's a very easy process. Station will go into that. If you decide to go forward with it tonight, you can just tell Station tonight you don't want to be in it. There's a telephone number you can call, or you can be in it. There's sales involved in that, but it's a very easy process to get in and to get out. And just to show you, in Hope, we have less than 10% of the people, the residents in Hope, that opted out. Savings. I'm here to just tell you, as a mayor, a fellow mayor, and an elected. When we went in, Knowlton went in, Wheelinghausen went in, Hardwick together, and we went to auction, and we received a pretty good savings. And Stacia will go into that in a few minutes. So that's the basics of the program from an elected official's perspective. And
thank you.
With me does half my presentation. A lot of Mayor McDonough had covered, but I'm going to start with getting gives a good foothold and good footing for understanding how a program like this can actually work and how it works and benefits and no changes, consumer protections, etc. So, big word, but all that means is that the components on your bill, of which there are two major ones, have been separated. So those two components are the actual energy, the supply, and then that's what that is. New Jersey deregulated back in 1999, along with 33 other states. For 18 years now. The way that this illustration is showing is that all the energy went from the generation plants to the utility companies to you guys, and the utility CPL in this case basically was able to set the price for both of those components. Longer, and they separated those components as it goes from to our homes. We spend realize, or maybe forgot, it's been 18 years, that Jersey's electricity said, we'll take care of setting the rates that is going to appear on your bill, and we'll take care of worrying about where that actual energy is coming out to the homes. And that is their only job, that's their sole job, been that way for 2 years. Okay, so again, just spending time so we get the background. Yourself, well, okay, then that's great, but where are we getting our electricity? People that are supplying the energy for the state of New Jersey. And this is for the entire state. Okay, so not only Jersey Central, but Atlantic City Electric, Rockland, auction. The website and find out all about it. So the state has an auction, and they set the rate that's on the bill. They have agreed to the rate. Again, state has an auction. Utility company has nothing to do with it. So the aggregation, it actually follows the same format. At a local rate. So it's basically following the state use program in parallel. We're not doing anything different, only taking it out of the state level, local level, rate reduction. In order to with the program so that we can offer rate reductions to residents, is that the rate actually has to be lower than what the utilities price for repairs. Okay, so that's a win-win for everyone. It has to be lower. So again, as Mayor McDonough mentioned, that 14, that's referred to it. It's map everything that we have to do, make sure that we're following as they have the community rate, buying in bulk purchase, and again, giving consumer protections that residents may not be able to get if they go home, pick a supplier, and potentially have some issues that they have to deal with later on. So the process, there is an order. We're to move to do that, everything to the BPU and the ratepayer are aware we're moving forward. Paperwork has been submitted, something that we take care of for you. And there again, locally, once we're able to move forward, we auction and set. very similar program and that PowerPoint that I'm doing this evening so that we get all of the information out to residents. And then we go through that whole process again once that contract terminates. So when a supplier is actually awarded moving forward, providing that we get, the mayor said there is an opt-out period, and that's really just for residents to tell us no P&S rate. That's a 30-day throw it away, whatever it might be. Days just so that again, that's just postcard, check the box, put it in the mail. We have an 800 and then we set up websites and things like that. Decide at any time, 6 months from now, they found a different rate. Maybe somebody's working for a supplier, they want to support them, they can opt out and go with another supplier. Or back to JCP now. So the program is only for residents who have already not selected a supplier on their anybody that has solar. There's some challenges with net meter readings, so those folks are not. We do have a program. Unfortunately, right now, although we can run at the rates typically in the state of New Jersey point, nothing changes, right? So all of the current services, because remember, JCP and the lines, the bill still comes to now, the meter readings still pay JCP&L if there's, that's all JCP&L. So absolutely nothing other than the fact that their rate is just lower. Budget billing, if anybody's on budget billing, equal payment plan, that's available for residents. With this program. So this is a copy of a sample EGS, if you pay attention. That line on your bill, that's the utility company should charge. The default term, basic generation service. So that line will change. It's the only thing that changes. Again, just because that's the indicator for where you're getting your energy from. And then up in the top left section, there's there today. We'll say if you were purchasing from Jersey Central, you would program every single month. For example, right there. Because residents are looking for ways. Nothing changes. This is a different parts of the country anyway. Jersey Central is the emergency services, outages, meter reading. Simply that one line on the bill that changes, and it has to be by statute. And then outreach is done by our team to make sure that everybody understands what the program is. Both of our companies is actually the state energy been appointed by Burlington County Bridge Commission. We're running a program in Burlington. Some of the largest cooperatives in the state that we're running with this program. And in the program, there's about 6 or 7 that are in some process of ordinance reading, whatever it might be. We have some success stories. The city of Hoboken. At the end of the month. Bethlehem, so auction for them next week. And success stories. So far, since we've been running the program over the last almost 4 years now, and that's all of the resident savings that we've had. Burlington, $660,000, which Mayor McDonough is part of. We're up to 9. This would be a cooperative. We'll be going back out to auction for their. So far, they've saved $1 million. And our largest one so far is the. We have 10 plus towns there, and they. Have any other questions for me?
Thank you. Councilman Lutz, do you have any questions?
No.
Just one. How does this impact commercial business? Everything I read was regarding residential. So
Yes.
what's the impact? The school district.
This program is residential only. We can't commercial. That actually they have rate structure depending on how large they are. Are already in a purchase. Residential. Everybody has a different rate structure. Residential, commercial, school districts, even your municipal licensing stuff like that is a different rate structure.
And I apologize. Concord's
and once that
secondary question is the
forward through. Initially, they put a summary saying my fee, and they break that out on a month. Award a contract, then they give us saying these folks are quote unquote eligible, and the folks that are already on it are on that list. So
another contract.
never get their information.
Questions, and you had answered, so like. And skip. It appears stated they will not. We can move forward.
$1,180.02. Capital fund, $300. Sewage utility fund, $339,956.39. Planning board trust fund, $21,079.05. Section 8, $618.03. For a regular bill list of $529,021.10. No Section 8 rent payments. There were 3 excavating bills tabled prior council meeting of a total of $28,244. The prepaid bill list, current fund $5,000, state federal grants $44,080, agency fund $153,464.23 for a prepaid bill list of $202,544.23. Grand total of all funds $759,080.